welcome. I'll be talking about enhancing human cybersecurity behaviors and intentions using applied AI. So, let's first talk about the human behavior, right? So, let's talk about the people, the process, and the technology. So, is anyone familiar with this game? You can see this one, right? What is this game? Elden Ring, right? To those who have played Elden Ring, it doesn't have a user interface which tells you where to go, what spot to go, or where to look for items. But imagine if it were developed by a game company who created, let's say, Assassin's Creed, right? It points you where to go, there's a map, the UI is very populated. At the same time, there's so much noise. It affects your gameplay. Familiar with this email? What is this type of email? It's a phishing email, right? What if the phishing email would have a guide like this, a prompt, something that would tell you na, aha, there should be something that I have to think about first before doing an act, right? So sometimes these are the features that we wished we had when we receive phishing emails. So the people part, throughout many years, has been studied by a lot of scholarly people, academicians. Freud said, we need to dive into the personality. Erickson said, we need to recognize and understand behaviors because they have developmental milestones. Sullivan said that there are dynamics with human interactions as we live in a society. Maslow said that we have a hierarchy of needs. And Pavlov said we have consequences with the behaviors that we do. And lastly, with the other academicians and psychologists out there, humans have free choice. However, for us to understand people, we have to know what drives behavior. Are you familiar with this logo? Looks like BMEG, right? You know BMEG? Yeah? Yung feeds, right? Those in the Philippines would know. So, just remember BMAP. I want you to remember this picture. B stands for behavior, equals motivation, ability, and prompt. Behaviors actually happen if a person receives a prompt or a trigger, if the person has an ability to do something positive or negative, and combining it with the motivation to do something or not do something. That's how behavior actually happens according to BJ Fogg. However, if there is an element missing, the behavior that you expect might not happen. So what do? We either enhance the motivation, enhance the ability, or remove or add the trigger or prompt. You can change behavior over time by selecting the most simple thing, simplifying what you can change easily with the person's act, the person's skill, or the trigger and prompt that comes to that person. Now, an analysis here is showing that if you receive a phishing email, what usually happens is a person clicks a phishing email if they have the ability to easily click, yung mga trigger happy, those who easily want to click links, and there's a pleasure to satisfy clicking that link, the curiosity. And what happens is the user eventually actually clicks a link. But if they have the ability to identify an attack and they have a motivation not to be compromised, to follow policies, not to be penalized with consequences, not to be suspended, then they wouldn't click a link. Another thing is creating accounts. Usually, this is what happens. It's either you create a password because policies would tell you to do so in your company, but you copy and paste it in your notepad, in your cell phone, or those who still use Post-its, they write it on their Post-its. But there are some of us who fear being compromised, so we actually do not write passwords anywhere, and we want to follow a safe practice. Another is if there's a trigger or prompt, for those who use Windows, sometimes there's an enforcement to change your password now So here's another analysis that happens. So I'm quickly going through all of this because eventually you'll get a copy of this slide. But these are some of the scenarios common to us. But a human does not live alone. We live in a society wherein culture is very important in the places where we live in. So culture is actually built up of many factors. You have habits, beliefs, knowledge, customs, and laws. And culture is often originated with a single region or location. So what happens is, for example, for Filipinos, some of us would be very shy in reporting an incident. Some Filipinos are not shy, but are very proactive in telling on someone, uy, that employee actually click a link. So there are people like that, right? So culture is a very big foundation of how we move the cybersecurity movement here. So what we have to do is, we have to make sure that we understand the context of that culture on where we work or the actual regional location, because it is where people will depend on what services they want, who will provide the services that they need. The customers that we have in banking, finance, in technologies and service companies, they will all want better services and customer experience tomorrow, next week, and the next years to come. For cybersecurity, it's the same thing. They would want better cybersecurity. They would want better customer experience as customers, with even the cybersecurity aspects of the services they receive. And tomorrow, this is what they want because people and the culture moves ahead with something better. So, thinking about it, how do we change now? It's all about people, process, and technology. The future of human cybersecurity and the behavior intentions is how we change now. So when we drive that future, we have to make sure that we look at the technologies that we can help us as well. So the question is, how can applied AI enhance our cybersecurity behavior intentions? So now that I already gave you the people part, let's now talk about what is the future of cybersecurity. They talk about the future of cybersecurity as having AI help us with the repetitive tasks, the detailed and repetitive tasks that some of us may not want to do anymore in the future. Many years ago, I started as an encoder of audit reports. That's all I did, 200 audit reports all day, encoding it in Microsoft Excel. If AY were there already many years ago, I wouldn't have that job. People would also say that cybersecurity's future, depending on AI, can help us about our behavior intentions. Sometimes, our behavior intentions are not consistent. It changes over time. And also, the future of cybersecurity needs to be strategic, right? It needs to be strategic. It needs to have the backing of policies and regulations and the technologies behind it. So now, the future of cybersecurity is there. The people, the behaviors already established with how we know people. Let's now talk about processes. A process happens if you have inputs from customers and you have outputs towards your expectations as a customer as well. However, if we deep dive into it, we need to know also what are the materials, the technologies that can help that process. The person behind that process, what are their skills and competencies? The criteria, what are the objectives and targets to make sure that you can say that process is of quality, is secure, is safe, and the how, the policies, the procedures. As a customer, you also have expectations yourselves. So if you have expectations, isn't it that the ones providing the outputs to us should look into their what, who, the criteria, and how as well? It's also the same for cybersecurity. If we are expecting, let's say a CISO is expecting an employee to not click links, but the employee does not have the ability to identify phishing, the organization do not have clear policies, and they do not have targets and metrics, what happens is you cannot expect that employee to not click a phishing link, right? You cannot. That's absurd to expect that from that employee if all of these are missing. However, if you have given some awareness and education and even the training, the frequent training, and you have metrics in place in your company, you have defined InfoSec policies and an email system in place, you can somehow expect that the employee will not click on that phishing link. So this is actually one approach that we can do to enhance cybersecurity behaviors, the intentions. We look at the expected behaviors, the behavior intention as part of the person, the criteria of what is secure in the culture, the secured ways of working, like the processes and the policies, and the enhancing technologies. That way, you can expect better behavior. However, if I ask you, if you have a controlled system already, what is the outcome that you expect? Everything is green. You have a controlled email system with prompts that will tell the employee not to click. The employee can identify phishing. You have a zero open rate as a metric, and you have defined InfoSec policies. Can you expect the employee still to not click? Yes or no? Sometimes behavior intentions cannot be guaranteed favorable because it changes over time. If your employees are overworked, they forget policies. If your employees are underworked, they think about on the clock. I will go and log out 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Okay, so sometimes they do not think about all of these policies anymore. So they forget to identify what's a phishing email. Now, there are research studies out there that say these are the behavior intentions that you can start with to monitor, such as device securement, proactive awareness of a person, password generation, how a person generates passwords, and eventually use multi-factor authentication and updating their device, their softwares in a timely manner. Here in AIM, we also extended the research in the Philippine context to add multi-factor authentication actually as a fifth behavior intention. However, you also have human traits that you need to consider. Some people would have personality traits that are unfavorable for a cybersecurity behavior. Some are risk-averse, some are not. And some would have decision-making styles that are favorable for a structured organization. But some people would always say no. Whatever policy and training, whatever secure device you give them, but in their mindset, if they do not want to follow order within the organization, they would still be saying no to whatever you would tell them to do. So considering this, let's go back to the enhancing technologies, which is our topic for today, applied AI. How do we help enhance the security behaviors that you expect? There are two questions. What is the security behavior that we expect? And what are the enhancements that applied AI can offer? So you've been hearing all about AI tools and products and services. Today, I won't talk about them. Instead, I will talk about what you can do with what you've heard today in this event, and you can tie it up with operationalizing it in your own company. For updating, the behavior updating is actually, can be considered technical. You can enforce it. You can make sure that you can order leaders to support this enforcement. But for an individual, they can actually have an enhanced behavior using these features from AI. Intelligent updates, streamlined update processes, and enhanced security intelligence using the tools that would come from these products that would be provided to us. Sometimes these are already embedded with the systems that you use. You just need to figure out how to enable them. When it comes to establishing authentication, you can be helped with your behavior through all of these features that are provided by applied AI, right? So password management, they can already have applied AI support the behavior intention of an employee to create but not paste anywhere the passwords that they would generate or save it in their browser, Applied AI can help us do that and also enhance access control. For securing devices, of course, these are one of the prominent features that have been discussed today, such as adaptive access control, threat detection and response, user education and awareness as well. Right? These can help us, these applied AI features can help us in the behavior of securing devices. And lastly, proactive awareness. But depending on the movements and the behavior that will be detected by applied AI on a certain individual, there are tools out there that can actually detect where that behavior might go to and what would be the needed awareness for that employee. Now, you're asking me, Ray, these are all bullet points. How can I operationalize this? What I can give to you are toolkits. If you can scan this QR code, what I can give to you are toolkits, worksheets, tables, and PDF files that you can bring back to your company so that you can start operationalizing this one. The thing here is that you would need to understand what are the priority behaviors that you would need for your organizations before you try to invest in applied AI products and services for your company so that it won't be put into waste. So part of this toolkit or what we call balikbayan box is that you can also look, I already included here also the secure culture maturity model from KnowBe4. Now, I'm presenting this because some of your leaders may ask, how can we put this into our policies and procedures? How can we operationalize this and make it into a program? This can help you create a program for your security culture. Now, since our topic is AI, this would talk about compliance, awareness, making a program out of it, maintaining it, and sustaining it. When you already find those tools from suppliers and vendors with the features that we listed earlier, now what you can do is embed how applied AI can enhance this maturity program that you can implement. So you first identify and prioritize the behavior intentions. Try to simulate these applied AI features with your employees and see what would work. Again, prioritize the behavior intentions. If you have phishing as your number one problem still, then you need to prioritize on that behavior. Try to integrate it. Increase the utilization of applied AI as your company grows and try to sustain that as well. Now, will applied AI really help us enhance cybersecurity behaviors? That is the question. As long as we take time to understand human beings, approach cybersecurity through the lens of processes, and make sure that we are diligent enough in understanding how AI can help us. We actually take time to sift through the contracts, the features of these products that are being told to us. Let's see how it can secure us better. That way, we can have a future wherein better cybersecurity behaviors can actually be enhanced with applied AI, right? And not totally replace the human. It can enhance our security behaviors and have a better cybersecurity culture in our organizations. So that's it for me. Hopefully, I was able to help you and also with the take-home tools that you can use, people, process, and technology. As long as we understand this and give this our time and understanding into implementing it and operationalizing it, I think we can go to have a better cybersecurity behavior future. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the session.